against our Wolves. With having the changes come in, I think I favour Wolves here, but it's very, very close. And that, for me, is going based on Fnatic have had problems over the last 12 months, I think it's fair to say. And I'm not sure that they've... I mean, maybe internally they've done loads of stuff. I don't know, but I look at the transfer. I look at has it addressed the problems they've had? I don't know. You know, we'll see. It's always difficult to say when a new player comes in. You get people switching to different roles, taking on different. It can be transformative, not just for that player, but for others around them as well. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I just see Wolves as maybe the more stable team at the minute.
I hope so. I mean, for Fnatic, this is their worst map over the last 6 months. A 0-3 record on it. The only ones that come close are Border and Labs, both 0-2. Yeah, they seem to quite enjoy coming here in best of ones, or maybe it's more the fact that it's that middle of the park map that there are others they'd rather not go to, and this is the one that often gets left in the middle. But let's see if they can change their result. Let's see if Croc can change some things around for them. As we saw last stage, things definitely need to get that little bit better. I think they are loading in now into map 1 in just a second. The Wolves, I think, again, as you've heard the Dev speak about, another change coming in for them too. Both teams wanting to show that these changes are what they need to unlock the potential, because clearly there's a lot of potential in both of these rosters. Lots of known faces, lots of players that we've seen doing great things throughout Tier 1, just not quite finding the right jigsaw puzzle pieces to fit together just yet. Maybe they get that in this game.
Yeah, we've got to talk about Creed as well. Of course, has played in Tier 1 EUL previously, as it was, now EML, and we know his ability very, very well. He's, you know, somebody who I've played quite a bit with as well outside of the game, and like, he can be absolutely phenomenal. He can be terrifying. So if that's something that Wolves can unlock as well, it could be a real big bonus for them. And I think, yeah, keeping an eye on Croc and Creeds throughout this game, and just seeing maybe who can deliver a little bit more, could also be a difference maker for these two teams.
Absolutely. No IQ being brought along for the respect more than anything else towards the Valkyrie. Look back to the many old days of outside Valkyrie cameras being a little bit of a nuisance. Now it's about the Valkyrie inside the map that you've got to worry about it. Noodle starting out with a snap onto the gridlock. An awesome kill to find, because of course, dropping down those 4 loads of tracks, locking off staircases, can really make you feel safe as a team. Getting rid of her early on, taking those nades off the board as well. Beautiful start.
It's not a day goes by that I don't miss outside Valkyrie campsters. Thank you for bringing them up. I used to love the one out a white window onto the drain pipe here. You could see both east and south sides of the map on the external.
Dropping mag.
Days long gone. We adapt, we move, we overcome.
Don't like you're going to be a motivational speech now, Tim, beyond just a little bit of commentary. I feel like you start like in my life.
I just miss outside camsters. Absolutely the right decision to stop it. They were ridiculously powerful. I just miss them.
You may even get to see a few of them actually as we get into the second half, because Deepak, I think, as we all know, loves a bit of echo and getting those Yokai out through drone holes and jumping up outside buildings, spying out everything he can. Something that he sort of brought to the game, and a lot of other teams started copying him, but don't really see it all that much these days. Either way, we'll see if it comes down to that a bit later. But now we're down to the last 80 seconds or so, and for Fnatic, it's been I would say a slow start. They've got what they need. They've got the top floor control. They've started opening up some verticals, but they are down a man, of course, and even with the IQ on side, they're still missing out on that bout can that sat inside a cocktail. It's dead now. Bye-bye.
No.
Is it? No. Is it?
No way. What?
I think it is. He's nearly dead now. Nitro comes out, and I think, you know, as they know that Valcam is being attacked, they know he's likely to stand still. That's going to put Wizard down onto 20 HP. 50 seconds left to go, and this is the part of the round where you're looking and thinking, right, where's the plank going to go down? Where's this execution being prepared? And at the minute, I don't think it really has been. They're now starting with a bit more vertical, but they haven't really softened up a plant spot specifically, you know, and necessarily cleared out that utility. It looks like they might have to go for it through Fireplace. But it's going to be very difficult when you've got Tyrant in there with support watching for the drop.
Flashes. They've got the flashes to play behind. I was hoping there'd be a smoke, but I'm not seeing one. They've just dropped in and straight into the waiting arms. I mean, that's even after Azra has spun away there, expected to get flashed, but didn't get hit by it. Call now coming out, which is looking better, but I really feel they need some more utility in there. Sarks to go and looking at Borders has got the drop through. The challenge comes on through. He's quickly finished off by Tyrant as well. Bit of a trade going on through by the looks of it. They'll hold on here as well, Wolves, as we get towards the last few seconds. Back in hand, rotating side. They will be able to start sticking this, but Sarks has got a lot to do here. I can't even stop Noodle coming in and spraying down his teammate, unfortunately. First round to Wolves, mainly, I'd say, down to the clock.
Yeah, I think, you know, dropping into train there without having Dine in control, Azra and Tyrant playing inside of there, it was always going to be a tough ask, and as soon as they drop, they start dying. So I think Fnatic maybe I don't know if that was like the initial plan or whether that evolved after they lost Croc at the beginning of the round. I don't know, but it felt like it was maybe a little bit rushed. It was kind of, you know, 30 seconds up, we're going to have to start dropping here or we lose the round, which would be correct. But yeah, just never really in command of things enough. So well played from Wolves. They managed to lock down round 1.
I do. I'm ready to bother on it as well. Again, we spoke a lot about this when we were casting APAC North on Saturday, was that teams, it felt a lot of the time, were getting 70, 80% of the way there, but then just when it came to jumping over that final hurdle, that's when they tripped and fall, and it felt like that a little bit with Fnatic. Sure, they lost Proxon quite early on. They managed to recover. That was the nice part. When it actually came to the execute, that's where things fell apart because they'd forgotten about those two players sat in the back of sight, just being a massive threat to them, and that was unfortunately where things all came undone. But let's see how round 2 goes inside the basement. Of course, going to keep an eye on Noodle in this round. He's back on that Denari again. Still seeing the little intricate patterns that people draw all through the map. This one, I'm very curious to see where it gets set up.
There we go. I'm going to have some answers as one goes inside of the metal shelves there. Next, please. Next, please. I like that they've got the deployable shield there. It's a position I often talk about is VIP. We've seen a bit of a trend recently for people playing it with the ward and with the Tuggerau and not playing with a shield there. And it does leave you a little bit more exposed. We see utility then being forced in towards them to try and deal with it. As it is, they do have that safety for Noodle to play behind. So keep an eye on Fnatic as attackers. How are they dealing with that position? How are they clearing him out?
I think he's holding on to these other two Denaris, by the way. In fact, what's Denari's gadget called? I actually don't know. Is that it?
It's an acronym, TRIP.
Oh, thank God. I was going to say, if that's what we've called it, I'm going to cry. Going back to basics here, big time. But I think he's actually using it as a little bit of bait here as well, where he'll drop down the second one when something starts happening, and that's when the lasers will appear. For now, the attackers will have no idea that that's where there's going to be Denari lasers getting set up. And it's not some round-winning change, but it will introduce a new problem that Fnatic have got to worry about. For now, all of their focus is around Red Says. It's getting code control. It's having pressure onto double door. They're not worried about White Corridor for now.
John is going to check out pillars, move on through. So they're just confident that they've got that floor to themselves now. They're actually plenty ahead of time, so absolutely no issues whatsoever from Fnatic there. The sledgehammer is swinging, the verticals are opening up, and Noodle has been dealt with. If you remember, I was asking, how are they going to deal? That was a big question for me. How well do Fnatic deal with the VIP position? And the answer is, they've dealt with it very, very well. However, I love this setup from Wolves. Put the Scorpos shield in there, and you've got a ready-made replacement.
Yeah, the real question now is whether or not he really wants to hang around here, knowing the pressure might start building around him. Of course, can just teleport out there at the drop of a hat, get himself out of danger. Still going to pay respect towards that. Those are shields, starts coming charging on through. Leader might have to back away here at some point. C4 not quite finding his man. A good nade on towards Leader, takes him out, and this is what I mean. How long did you really want to hold inside a VIP there? He's paid the price with his life.
Creed's just searching and getting himself back into long bar on the Warden. Wolves desperately need a magic moment at the minute to try and get themselves a couple of kills, get back into this one, because with 40 seconds you would expect now that Fnatic with a shield on side as well would be able to massage themselves into a position to put this diffuser down. Creed's is there waiting ready. He's got one. It's Wizard just at the other side of him. I'm not sure if he's aware of Creed's position or not. Creed's just holding himself still for the time being. More nitro. There we go. Wizard does see him eventually as he comes around the corner. Creed's with absolutely no idea. Plant's going to go down. And this one is looking good for Fnatic.
I was about to say, some people have been real demons with that Dokkaebi secondary over the last couple of days or so, and Wizard was no exception. 2 kills in the round. Nearly got the third, but I think it's enough at this point for his team to see the round out. Asa all alone on that Aruni that we were speaking about, Tim. So you're going to see a lot of this throughout this game, and I think you're going to see more and more of it as we go on through, but sadly, no success to be found in this round. What does TRIP stand for, Tim? I've Googled it and I can't find it anywhere.
It's funny because my Google search is exactly the same.
How do they build that synergy? What does it stand for? Have you found anything?
No, I've found it. I have seen it.
Hang on. Let's make up our own. Let's think about this and come back together with an answer, and we'll see how we compare. You tell me when yours is ready, and I'll tell you when mine's ready. I've got the first 2 words. I need the other 2. I've got totally realistic injuring pointers.
Okay. I was going with throwable reactive something.
something.
Yeah, I didn't have the last bit worked out.
You've already gone for the far more tactical lingo than I have, though.
Well, I wanted invisible, but it's not invisible, so I couldn't go with invisible. It's not incendiary, so I couldn't go with incendiary.
It does shock you, though. Is there a good word for inductive, maybe?
Yeah, well, it'd be conductive, wouldn't it? I guess
true.
Yeah. Shall we look at some Siege, Jez? We're into
Yeah, let's do that. I mean, technically, we are talking about Siege.
Somebody will
trying to debate what the name is.
Somebody will message us.
I'm gonna find it on Google. I swear to God, I will find it.
Maybe it's never been announced.
No, I swear to God, I will find it somewhere.
Sure, I've seen
It has to have been announced. You don't declare an acronym and then not explain the acronym. It has to be somewhere, Tim.
I would agree. Talking about
I'm watching YouTube videos now. I'm in deep.
I need to reload.
Deep. Talking about having to be somewhere. The drones have to be somewhere as Fnatic continue to race them across this top floor, looking for any intel that they can get. They've got the track stingers out. They've got the shield in place, and the slow march across through piano. The excitement of Dez is off the charts. The slow march continues from Fnatic.
It's trigonometric realignment injection paranode. That is
I was
horrific.
just going to guess that. That was my other option.
Oh, he's so close. Oh, Tim, you nearly had it, man. You nearly had it. Well, you know who has got it? Croxon had it for a second as he brought down Azza. Noodle straight there for the trade back, though. That is unfortunate. However, for Fnatic, it's great. They're into a 4 versus 2. Jake's going nice and Aggie here with the Monty on top as well. Both pushing on forwards, making use, of course, of the finger boost at the same time. Need to get that diffuser back on side, but they'll be happy with their work here. Noodle is down to a slither of HP. So really, it's a couple of lucky shots from Noodle and Tyrant going big to keep this round going, but you're facing off against the traps coming out from Wizard, another juice coming out from Deepek, and a shield bearing down on you.
Yeah, I don't think they win this one, and the problem that they've got is that, you know, we often judge teams of performance on Cafe based on their attacks, and how many can they get. They can be very difficult, and so Fnatic coming away with 2 out of the first 3 is absolutely huge for them. And, you know, coming in, I said I've kind of edged towards favouriting Wolves, but Fnatic are looking, you know, way more stable than I might have expected. They're looking very methodical. They're doing, you know, ticking boxes each step at a time, taking ground, using that control. It's been good so far.
They've still got nades they can make use of here in Wizard's back pocket to clear out that Malusi Banshee just on the inside of Reading Door. For now, they're going for the track and going to start their charge on forward, I imagine, on towards Noodle. Yep, given he's on low HP, a shot through a wall can be enough here. Has got himself inside a red. They've managed to clear him out easy as pie. Tyrant gets rid of 1. The vertical is here. Got to watch out for that, but Sark's finding first. As you say, Tim, Fnatic up to 2-1 here after 3 rounds. Not bad at all.
Yeah, not bad at all. That's a good start from
Honestly, trigonometric realignment injection paranode. God damn.
There you go. What's a paranode?
I was also wondering exactly the same thing. You can guess what my Google search looks like now. Paranode. Roll for paranodal junction. Okay, yeah, now this is starting to go into text that I simply don't understand.
It's impressive stuff. This is what I'd love to see.
Now,
you know,
on paranode, the edge of the node of Ramvia of a myelinated axon between the node and the juxtaparanode. Okay, yeah, look,
I
don't do this part of physics.
I can't believe you didn't know that. No, I mean, props to the devs. You know, that's it.
Node of Ramvia.
Props to the devs coming up with it. Fantastic stuff.
What the hell is a myelin sheath? It's something to do with nerve fibers. So we're going deep here. Deep into the science, Tim.
I'm going to go deep into the siege. Bomb
located by attackers.
Fnatic will continue on the attack for 3 more rounds. We've seen the final bans come out. Not too much of a surprise to see Monty taken away. So far, Fnatic have actually put it to really good use. They've bought some good space with it. Been that menacing presence that we expect from our big shieldy boy. Could be up to mining again. This is the side that they struggled with a little bit last time. I think this is going to be a bit easier for them this time, though, because the reason I felt like they struggled last time was it just took them a little bit too long to do everything. But it was round 1, and they're just, you know, coming into the first tier 1 match together as 5, and, you know, all the other things. And I think now, with a little bit of momentum behind them, we're going to see a much more effective and efficient clearance of that top floor, and they're going to have more time to get themselves positioned to put the plan down.
I think it's one that's often forgotten about when speaking about, you know, obviously all the focus is on Stomping. Quite rightly, he's playing an unbelievable game. But when he was picked up at the same time, he also saw Wizard getting picked up. And, yeah, we had the same, of course, going on Wolves. Obviously, changes coming in there. I believe it was Rex who got dropped off in the end. But Wizard's one of those players everyone has sort of said, no, he's genuinely really, really good. Like, keep an eye out for him. And last stage was messy for Fnatic. So I think he's kind of been lost to the annals of history a little bit. But if he can have a good stage here and Crop can deliver like he has historically and Starks can hit that peak that we've seen and Jegs can get back to old gunning ways, this is a very, very lethal roster. It just really needs to find its form, I think, a little bit. And maybe in game one, yeah, you might not see it at its full potential, but I do think you'll see this Fnatic team improve throughout the stage. And so far, so good.
They know exactly where Noodle is positioned, and he's going to be forced away. And again, this is within the first minute. Croc manages to get himself a kill onto Creed, so that leaves us now 5 versus 4. And I spoke about that top floor clearance and how efficient was it going to be, how effective was it going to be, and so far it has been very much so on both counts. They've got plenty of time here. This time, either they need to kill everybody, or I want to see Fnatic in a position to, in a controlled manner, start putting that diffuser down on the ground. There's no reason from here why they shouldn't be able to.
Yeah, just kill everyone. Forehead, hello. So easy.
My point being, they don't have to plant the diffuser. If they kill everybody, fair enough. But otherwise, I want to see them getting controlled, you know, space in sight and having an opportunity to put the diffuser down.
Ooh, Coda's not seeing that drone up above. That's got firm eyes on what he's doing now. They know that he's tucked inside. Could be a little bit precarious for them if they're not too careful. Smash that floor out. I'll just go for it. They don't have a spray here. They're already, here we go. It's dead from above. Oh, Croc, you were a little bit too slow off the mark there, but everyone else is already spraying away before you even ADS. They get away with a freebie, and that is going to be the end of Tyrant. He's probably thinking, oh, they definitely know I was there. That's a shame.
Yeah, the siege comes at you fast here in EML. Croc finding that out, missing his opportunity, but he won't mind as the kill goes their way. Anyway, they do spot somebody down in kitchen as well. It's Leader that's hiding himself away, watching that vertical, but they're aware of his position. They'll know exactly what he's watching, and Fnatic can just circumvent it. They can just stay away from that angle and just look to get themselves in. But I'm just getting concerned again. 30 seconds. I said I wanted to see him with an opportunity to put this diffuser down, having good control. They need to get moving now.
They do, and sure enough, trying to look forward. Leader finds one with a C4. Wizard getting it back onto him immediately after. Into a 4v3 yet again. Fnatic have that numbers advantage, but time is not on their side as Azza, holding at long range, gets one. Noodle into a second. Fnatic might be about to bleed out around here. Yes, they are. Azza gets another one. Sarks is getting the diffuser down. I don't think they know at this point, Tim. He's going to be able to stick that, but now he's got to win out a 1v2. Is it too much to ask? Straight up the stairs he goes. He's going to play from above, and there is no one up here to challenge him right now. In fact, I lie. There is one inside a cigar. Does he know? I don't think he does. But just off towards the right, there is one player skulking around. He's got to find these isolated 1v1s. Won't get it as Azra's got him from below. Gets a 3k for himself, and Walls will get the defuse in.
I think what's happened there is, I could be wrong in this, but that's really nice teamwork if I'm right. I think that Noodle has blown the wall for him with a nitro so that he can attack from the different angle from the top of stairs rather than having to go door. I could be wrong. There was just a big explosion before that kill went down, and the Legion Azza had had the bulletproof cam, so it's not something that he could have done himself, and I think it was a nitro that came up from Noodle. So really nice stuff there from Wolves. To be honest, I think Fnatic have paid the price for their own mistake there. I can only assume. I'm very conscious that the players, you know, can play on many different ratios, so their screen might not always look exactly the same as ours. We quite clearly saw Leader on that drone down in kitchen. It's easier for us. We've got outlines, etc., etc. I understand that. I assumed that Fnatic had picked up on that position, that they were aware of it. But the fact that they then got hit with the nitro as they went in to get the plant down on the blitz suggests maybe not. There's one of two things happen. They either haven't seen it, or they've paid for the mistake of not going and clearing Leader out, not going and taking advantage of the information that they had. He was next to the soft red wall. You know, there could have been an opportunity to maybe just spray him down, and they've paid for that.
They have indeed. We're sat at a 2-2 point. There's a little bit of chat as well about, you know, is this map attacker sided, is it defender sided? If you look at it globally, as we spoke about a little bit earlier on, it's actually one of our more attacker leaning maps. You know, Border is, it sounds weird to say that Border is at midpoint. 54.2% defender win rate. Cafe is at 53.8, so just under that. And then if you really want to go towards the more neutral maps, Bank is currently the closest to 50.3% for defenders, so as close to 50-50 as you're going to get. Over here in EU, though, if you look back at stage 1, Cafe, it was played 8 times. There was a 58% defender win rate overall, our third most defender-sided. Scariest stats is that Skyscraper admittedly only played once, 73% defender win rate, and that surprises no one, I think, because around the board it has been our most defender-sided overall.
Got leader on
5
the
seconds
score
left.
pass again. Given that it's kitchen, I think we'll probably see a similar setup, which I actually really liked, which was that second score pass shell being left inside of VIP as a very quick and easy replacement should the Denari of Noodle be taken down. But they need a better answer, I think. It's not just about planning for needed to take over, it's the fact that he was taken out so easily. So that's something that I think Wolves need to address as well and try and keep that original player alive in that area.
Sure, it's more about trying to find the early picks. It's going to make the difference, I think, for Fnatic. Need to try and get some momentum going. We found ourselves in the man advantage, but clock really hasn't played in their favor. Similar to what we saw from VP in our last game. Do want to see them picking up the pace a little bit, being willing to go aggressive onto these players that might be in more difficult positions around the map. Looking at this one, though, look at the bottom right corner of your screen. You can see where every single player is, of course, on that little black bar that we have at the bottom. And the smart cookies amongst you will spot that every single player of Wolves is down on the ground floor already. And that's why inside, what, 45 seconds, Fnatic are already swinging away and starting to open up the verticals upstairs.
Yeah, they've definitely got to use that time. It's the 2 minutes on the clock now. We often talk about the 1 minute 30 mark being, you know, the point for the verticals, but they are way ahead of that. So they are taking what has been given to them, which is great. You love to see it. The boogie drones are going in now, just ripping up those floorboards. And what that's going to do is it's going to force those Wolf players away from their spots. It's not about getting kills here. If you get one or two, brilliant. What it's really about is forcing those Wolves players away from plan A, plan B, forcing them into bad positions.
Absolutely. I mean, deep MP is all on him as well. Looking towards those firebolts and the smokes really to start orchestrating this attack. It will give us the indication on where the plan's going to go down, but still a bit of setup work to do. Very common wall to open up here because you get that lovely angle down towards the side for the double door itself, and just restricts the ability of the defenders to make good use of this red corridor. As you can see, it goes both ways, as all holes tend to do in Siege. In this case, C4s can go back the other way and try and catch out players, and that's where defense step back away and get himself nice and safe. Crossing going to start things off as he gets Tyrant, but there is an immediate trade. Lots of trades in this game, to be fair, Tim. Might have got the entry, but there's already been a response.
Yeah, Leader doing a great job on that score pass to make himself unpredictable, but it's easily dealt with by Sarks. Just has a little walk down the red
Another
stairs,
4v3.
picks up his man. 4v3, 45 seconds. There's an age left on the clock for Fnatic, but here comes Grease. If he can get down on the flank, it's absolutely free. It's another mistake from Fnatic. They've let them get away with it. It was Leader down in kitchen before. This time it was Creed's on the flank. Noodle gets one as well. 3v2, and from a round that you think, how can Fnatic not win this? You look at it now and think, how can they?
I mean, I said it on the desk earlier as well. Like last stage, it was much the same, where the start of the round was good for Fnatic more often than not. It's the late round they'd lose, and really Jinx had to be getting that kill, but Azra has just domed him, no problem. 4 kills in a row for Wolves, and they get the round over the line. Fnatic have been kicking themselves because, again, there have been 2 or 3, even maybe 4 rounds now where it feels like they've had the man advantage, and they should be able to see a round out over the line. But it just simply hasn't transpired. Wolves holding on and playing really well right now to shut them down, even from a man disadvantaged position.
Yeah, it's just basics that are letting them down. You know, like I've already pointed out a couple of the positions where they've maybe not cleared, or they've not dealt with it, or they've maybe not even been aware of it. But Creeds walking across top floor, like they have to know about it. There has to be a drone. There was players dead, you know, so there's no excuse for camps not to be being watched. There needs to be a flank watch. There needs to be something, or you at least need to be very aware of it. Say, look, we have no vision over this area. We don't know if anybody comes up white stairs. We don't know if anybody's coming across main floor, and then you can at least be aware of it.
All right, last chance here, Fnatic. I think they walk over 2 rounds, they'll still feel okay about it, but really, after how this game started, they should be getting a 3-3 half out here. Wolves, of course, on a warpath to deny that away. Keep ourselves busy here with a full map clear to work their way through by the looks of it. This top floor, of course, going to be point objective 1 for the side of Fnatic. You want that vertical control to be able to get the site cleared out, to be able to protect the diffuser when it's down, so on and so forth. They got away with it pretty quickly last time they did get this top floor control. It was more when we came in towards the execute where things then started to look a little bit ropey. So, confident control of the top floor, confident plank going down, that's got to be the name of the game. Ooh, I like this artwork.
A slightly funkier setup than we've maybe seen before.
I like it.
It's one of those to kind of like go back into the VODs and the replay files, isn't it, and have a look at, you know, where they really are. Because obviously, you know, our wonderful observers catch as much of it as they can, but we equally can't just spend the round going looking for 7 trip connectors to see exactly, you know, what's been deployed where either. So it's definitely, I think, one of the more complex operators that we've had added to the game in terms of variety of setup. There's, you know, there's no kind of dead set default for those things.
I think the challenge will always be is we'll obviously see these pretty lineups and go, oh, cool, what are they going to do? And they do like nothing. The most effective ones we've seen have been the ones put on stairs on club, for example.
Yep.
Back in our first game of the day. We'll look at it and go, oh, it's too fancy. You don't need that. Obviously, what they practice, what they see in scrims and the setups they've got in mind have impact or deter certain things. And just because you see something doesn't happen, doesn't mean it's not having an impact on the other side to deter them or push them away is the main thing to remember.
That's exactly it. It may be that, you know, no, we're not seeing the kills, no, we're not seeing the damage, but what we are indirectly seeing is the funneling. You know, it's the prevention, and that's what these things can often do. Creed's has got the shotgun in hand. He knows that there's one on the rappel. He'll be able to hear him. I think he's just waiting for his opportunity, but Croxon's going to take a little walk across that top floor now. You can see Fnatic have decided now is the time to start getting aggressive. Are they aware? Not a clue, but Creed, you've got to get him.
I mean, the trade is there, but he hasn't been worried about the range on that for a while. Again, just it's the sort of thing we were speaking about with BDS in the first game of the day. It's small mistakes that start to cost you at points there. You know, a bit of decent droning would have seen you getting there perfectly fine, secure an easy kill onto a player that is way out of position. But instead, just by ratting in and a bit of laziness, a bit of tiredness being shown by the players on Fnatic, they pay the price. The C4 below not quite going to find its man. They have, of course, got this 4v3 again. I feel like they've been here about 5 times so far in this half, Tim. They need to convert this one. They cannot let another 4v3 slip away from them.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got to win it. A lot of damage taken there. Starts losing the fight on the vertical. Noodle comes away without a single shot of damage done to him as well. That is a big turnaround for Wolves. It looked like it was going to be an easy one for Deepek to seal, but he doesn't find his man at pillars. And right now, that 4v3 that you said, Des, they've lost a couple of times. It starts looking like it could be possible again. Deepek goes in. He's going to start thinking about putting the diffuser down, but doesn't stick it just yet. Takes a lot of damage, and we see why he's not sticking it. But Croxon manages to find leader. There's the second from Jeg. Surely this is now within Fnatic's grasp.
He's trying his best. He's got already found his man as well. Sprayed through, but not quite finishing him off. And there we go. Croxon, the angel of death. 3 kills from up on that vertical, covering off the plant for one, looking in towards brown stairs, getting the second player coming in towards site itself. They get that 3-3 half. But Tim, I can't help but feel with the number of 4v3s they had, they should have come out with a bit of a better scoreline than what they've got.
The end of that round was closer than it should have been, wasn't it? I thought there was a timeline where Noodle won that. I was just trying to flash my eyes up to the clock and see what was left. How long did he have to survive? But fortunately for Fnatic, they had Croxon in position to drop that hatch and get that final kill, but it looked like it could be another one slipping away from them. It was a heads-up smart play from Noodle, just going straight for the planter, get that diffuser on the ground and see what happens in those final seconds. But ultimately, 3-3 on the half. We're going to swap sides. Fnatic will start on the defense this time, and we're going to have those bans coming in. It is Grim and Ying, so a lot of sort of plant-heavy utility is going to be taken away from the attackers.
Absolutely. All right. Second half is going to say a lot, I think. Both teams really fancy coming here. We've remarked on that history that Fnatic have got here. Their worst performing map with a 0-3 scoreline, but they don't mind coming here in these best of ones time and time again. They've really got to show us what they can do on the defensive side of things here. Work a little bit of magic. Equally, my eyes turn towards Wolves here. We see what they can do on the defense. How can they now play on the attack, especially looking towards Noodle, because he's had a great half there. And often not in the early round. He hasn't been the explosive entry player that they might sometimes need. Instead, quite consistently in mid-rounds, he's been picking up kills, and there's a large part of why they were converting a lot of those 3v4s into round wins.
Next 2 rounds, I think, are going to be particularly revealing as to how the remainder of this one goes. If Fnatic can start locking down a few defenses, then yes, it could definitely be possible for them. But as we've said a couple of times, they have to start erasing those end of the round wobbles, those end of the round mistakes that's just costing them here and there. Always tough to attack Cafe, so let's see what Wolves have got in the tank. They've brought the knock along. We'll see exactly where the particular point of interest, where is he going to work from and to.
Also, Noodle getting on that Deimos, so saying that he wasn't too involved in entries back in that first half. But typically, if you're playing Deimos, you're getting pretty involved in the entries. It's going to be him or Azza at the front line looking to cause a spot of bother. And if he's feeling himself today, why not? Get yourself a bit more active, get a little bit more busy, and see what he can do. Key one for me as well is making sure Creed stays alive. Sounds like a weird thing to say, but of course, we saw Croxon dying on the gridlock early in the round during that first half. don't get a chance to get those tracks down, well, there's basically no point in bringing along the operator. But I'm also looking in towards those frag grenades in back pocket. They're 2 of 6 that they have on side here. That's a lot of frags to bring, and normally is a sign that you want to clear out utility by making use of them. Mainly looking in towards things like the Mozzie Pest there when I say that, or the barbed wire, potentially the bulletproof they've got. If there's a shield on side, you make use of verticals to clear it out as well. So there isn't tons to worry about through. Of course, self-destruction is also on the cards. But no doubt it's about getting the moving nice and quick here. Please tell me we know there's a player tucked in. He's just raced on that drone there, and he could pay the price for it if he's not careful.
Tyrant is going to pick up Jegs. Nitro goes out.
Oh, nice.
Not going to find its man. Like you say, good effort. Tyrant manages to get another on Stroxon. All going in Wolves' direction at the minute on the attack. Azza has managed to creep his way up White Stairs as well. He was kind of almost being used as a living drone to begin with. He had the Deimos of Noodle like walking in 10 feet behind him. It was kind of like an invisible drone that can shoot back. Just going in to feed information ahead. They're completely unaware of Wizard's position, but I don't think it's going to matter, as it now is a 1v4 with Creeds picking up Sarks. And Wizard, he's got a big ask here. It would be a 1v5 ace if he was going to close this out, and Wolves know that they're in no rush. They know roughly where he is. They wait for the target to come in. There it is, the intel.
Nice try.
They know exactly where they need to push. Leader manages to pick up the kill, and Wolves get their first attack.
It was pretty good as well. Those 3 kills that they secured all came in very quick fashion in the space of a couple of seconds. Just again showing, pushing forward as a team there, even though things looked a little bit ropey at the start. Missing out that player inside of Cigar, I was like, please, God, no, let's not start off with this sort of thing at the start of your half. But pretty convincing after they got over those couple of speed bumps at the very, very start of the round. Put themselves ahead to kick things off initially. Fnatic are the ones that I've got to see tighten up here. Otherwise, Wolves, if they carry on playing like they did in that first round, could find themselves accelerating through this attack.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I look at the entry for the first half, 5-1 in favour of Fnatic, and that just kind of doubles down on what we've been saying about how they've been having these situations where they have a man advantage, where they start to gain some control, and they should probably be winning those rounds, 4 versus 3s, 5 versus 4s, and they let it slip away. And the fact that they've gone 5-1 on the entry, but only ended 3-3 on the scoreboard, kind of starts to paint that picture. And now that they've got onto the attack, Wolves pick up the opening kill. Tyrant got Jegs. And then Fnatic are in a whole new world. It's not one that we've seen them so far, having to play from behind. And in that round, it didn't go fantastically well for them.
Ooh, look at the lineup, though, coming out from the defenders here on the side of Fnatic so heavily into the intel game. In fact, every operator really except the Tuberal. It's all about information. Outcams, of course, the stolen Mozzie drones that you'll take away. The Pulse, the Evil Eyes, they're really going hell for leather on this. And it makes me a bit nervous for Wolves because there's no Brava on side. They've drastically reduced the number of grenades they've got. They have at least got the Ash on side if required as well. But I just think this is going to be such an overwhelming amount of information that Fnatic shouldn't be getting crushed by this. The way that you get through it is by being rapid. And when I see things like the Rower on side, I'm thinking, you know what, actually, maybe that is the way to get through this.
Was that a Rower?
That was a normal Rower name actually there, Tim. It wasn't a Rower, whatever it was I said earlier on. It sounded awful.
Right, we'll keep an eye on Creeds and we'll see where those panels are activated and how impactful they are. We're going to have the hatch opened as well as Noodle gets up there. Currently just ticking boxes here. Wolves looking to get that top floor control. That's going to be their first priority.
Swapping mags.
Also, just getting that line of sight. You know, something like that, just getting that angle through sight. You never know what Fnatic are going to give you. Can't hold it for the entire round, but just get those few bullets in and see if anybody wants to pop the head in there for you.
Selma signals activated.
Absolutely, Selma at long range to open up that hole in towards Train, start putting pressure on towards the man who's dug inside. Oh, could be a freebie on towards Azza. I think even more damage there as he stepped across as that environmental destructible or ingredient was going off. Puts him down to about 40 HP there, so a good bit of tickle, but no Cigar. Still available to make use of those frag grenades. Still has the tracks on side, and of course, a gun that he is more than capable of using.
Time might start becoming a factor for Wolves here. They've not managed to find themselves an entry yet, which is a little bit slow by normal standards. Getting themselves into Piano now, but only 1 minute 15 left to go. Lots of control, lots of verticality still to be gained, which they are going to begin. But Noodle's movement here suggests that they're not too confident in the intel that they've got ahead of them as well. I think they are limited on drones. Beautiful from Sarks. Well timed as well. Double to take down Azza and Creeds, and that almost certainly destroys this attack.
Definitely. I mean, again, the amount of information they've got on side there, you've got no excuse to not be getting kills with C4s. They throw one of the 4 they've got and they get 2 players. Oh, dream stuff. And they got rid of that Rara. She's gone as well. So that whole execute I was speaking about, where you're relying on that to be able to essentially bypass a lot of the intel gadgets on the other side, that's still longer a possibility. Brox's going to get himself finished off as Leader steps himself in towards the bottom of White Door. So not necessarily great, but still a 4v3 for Fnatic. The problem is, Tim, we know how cursed those 4v3s have been so far.
It's certainly not been plain sailing for them, has it? But with 20 seconds left to go, you've got to say at this point that Fnatic in the round, surely. Got Deepak just holding himself inside of sight. He's tight in that corner. Jegs manages to find one. There's no way that Wolves pick this up from here. They managed to maybe get themselves a kill, a spray down, but it won't be enough. Nitro comes out. You can see it from a mile away, but there was nothing that Noodle could do. Wizard closes out the round. That levels us up once again, 4-4.
Yeah, much more convincing round for Fnatic, and I think a lot of it leaned into, I mean, there's 3 C4 kills in the round. That tells you a lot. Having had to fire a bullet and they're finding themselves picking up 3 kills, but it was that heavy lean into the intel game with 0 response from the other side. No Brava coming along, no IQ being stepped up, a lack of gadgetry really to deal with all the information they'd find, because even if they dealt with things like the Pulse and the Valkyrie, you've still got to deal with a plethora of Evil Eyes scattered across that second floor, as well as the Alder itself. You know, just a bit too much for Wolves to have to chew through in that round. So things are tied up at 4 apiece. Good showing from both sides so far in this half.
It's there for both of these teams to win. That much is absolutely true. The thing is, I was kind of expecting through round 7 and 8 that we might start getting a little bit more of a picture, but as the rest of the game has gone, you know, so it continues around back and forward, and we have very little idea as to who is going to be able to come out on top. You know, we've spoken about Fnatic's mistakes, but then they have rounds like that where they're very, very solid, and Wolves can't break them down. Wolves can't force them out and waste a lot of time trying to do so. Fnatic use their utility fantastically well, and to their advantage, the double kill from Sarks really setting them up for success. And we found ourselves back at level pegging and no idea who is going to come out on top. It's been a great game so far.
It's been very back and forth, which has been a nice thing to see. I mean, you kind of expect it because these are 2 of our bottom teams in the competition, as we said. It's been really interesting to see how with the changes they've made, whether or not we see them start to fly up the table. In the same way that Wild have, you know, they haven't even made a player change, it's been a backroom staff change, and they already look quite significantly better. Yes, they lost their game, but they took VP to overtime on Bank, and that was definitely worth recognition. The question now becomes, can these other 2 teams do the same and essentially, you know, draw every team closer to one another? It's a rush coming on through, though. Noodle's already in. Realize he can't make it through this hole here, but they've got pressure onto this player to his right. Can't really afford to ADS, or he is toast. In fact, in he goes. Here we go. Steps on through, but Deepak is ready and waiting. The IGL giving nothing over to the other side.
Yeah, that's another moment as big as Sarks' double with the Nitro, really. I think it just takes all the impetus out of that attack from Wolves. It was supposed to be Noodle going in there on the blitz, creating that space, giving them something to move into, somewhere to go, somewhere to drive forward and push a wedge into the defense of Fnatic, but it just hasn't happened. Deepak was able to hold on. I think he was probably full white flashed. We certainly saw the shield activated, but if you've already managed to get your line up, sometimes you can just keep spraying and you get away with it. So Wolves back to the drawing board, and you've got half as much time.
The great spot. We spoke about that Aruna. You very rarely, do you see it playing inside of here. It used to be Castle that would set up inside of here and use it on the windows around him, on the doorways around him, lock in, make use of that magnifier scope to do some work. But without that now, leaning in towards seeing that Aruna more and more, like we said that he might. So sat behind that bakery counter, just challenging on towards those longer angles that form up on that double door. It's a good way to keep Wolves at bay, who now, without the blitz, have got to figure out something to get their march on through. Will not get away with this one, though. Down goes one. A bit of a 2v1 forming in here as Tyrant starts his march on forward. Not bad. Hits a second in the round. Sorry, first in the round, if nothing else. But he's got to find a little bit more than that, Tim. We're still in the 4 versus 2, same as we were last round. But Fnatic closed it out then, and it's looking like they'll do the same again, as Leader is the last one left standing in a 1 versus 4. Fnatic taking us up surely to 5 and 4 scoreline. But I love little cheeky shots like that. I can't help but love it.
Deepek's going to see a good bit of damage there from the Goyo canister that was detonated behind him as well, so it's certainly not a guarantee for Fnatic so far, but given their positions, I like where they are. I don't think that they lose this one from here. Having one out on red stairs creates a really nice crossfire. They've still got utility to play behind. They're not overextending, not over-peaking. They know that they don't need to. They're forcing leader to come in and make a move. They've got that triangle established. There we go. They cut him down with Wizard, and Fnatic with a solid defense. And that's what we need to see a little bit more of as they continue on. That was the good.
All right. They're showing a little bit what they can do across those two defenses. Now, I was a bit worried, admittedly, after round 7. Like, oh, no, surely they don't find themselves losing this. But after those last 2 rounds, a lot more convinced. You know, really look like they've got their stuff together here. Like, they are able to play as a team. They are able to deal with Wolves. You know, even with the blitz rushing at their face, they've dealt with that well. A slower round where they played off the back of their Intel and C4s. Played that very, very well. A Capital ban coming out is definitely an interesting one as well. Not very often you see that banned away except for on maps like Club, but I don't hate seeing it. Long I've said, I think Capital is one of the best operators in the game. The fact that he brings along smokes, he brings along fire, decent guns, 3 speed, good secondary gadgets. Like, he does bring the whole picture that you really want from someone in that kind of position. So banning it away when a team likes playing it, certainly not a bad thing at all.
No, I'd agree. I think it's the same way as I used to look at Buck when he had hard breach. You know, he could just do so much. He was so self-sufficient, and Capitite is very much the same. Has the hard breach chargers, has the smokes, has the panics, you know, map control, sightline control, just everything, really. Good gun as well. So, yeah, I think always going to be a valuable ban, and especially if you've got a team who are utilising it quite a lot. So, Fnatic punishing Wolves that little bit more. They lose their Valkyrie, though, as well. So, that's going to obviously have an impact on the intel that they've been playing with. They didn't bring along the pulse. We've seen that for a couple of rounds as well. We've seen it kind of played alongside the Valkyrie. We've seen it played without the Valkyrie. So they should still have a good idea from Sarks of what is going on.
All right. Now all the pressure turns towards Wolves. They're the ones who've got to show a little bit of bottle on this attack here and start swinging it over, because I spoke about Noodle at the start of the half. I was like, you know, he's had a great first half there, 7-3. Limited impact so far in this half, admittedly. Yes, attacking is generally a little bit harder than it might be on the defending side. Got to see him start to cook here. Of course, taking the Capital away is going to force him onto different operators as well. Now stepping across on towards that sledge. Very, very slow comp coming out from Wolves here. Looking in towards the ram, in towards the sledge, in towards the gridlock. Certainly not charging at people with shields this round, Tim, which will give a lot of time for Sarks to make good use of this pulse and feed all the info needed over to his team on where the attack is coming from, what it is they're looking to do, and most importantly, where to throw those C4s that sit in back pocket.
Yeah, and Aki might have been nice just to give the opportunity to get a ping on him. Of course, IQ's range is greater than Pulse's, so IQ will always have an advantage in that 1v1, and they would have had a lot of intel by this point on Sarks, who has been in that scanner almost constantly throughout this round. He's pinging out one up on the piano rappel at the minute. I'm looking at nearly the halfway mark, and nobody from Wolves is inside the map yet.
Yeah, not just yet. Taking things very, very slow. As we said, that comp is full of 1 speed. They're not going to be trying to charge their way through. They want to make sure it's safe before they start getting the verticals on the go. But it only takes one well-placed C4 and the whole thing starts crumbling apart. It's like a slow-moving object just getting beaten up on there while you sit there waiting to take blow after blow after blow. Noodles in, shotgun in hand. Looking to go nice and close range as we can hear that ram running away. A C4 waiting inside the utility room hatch as well, looking on towards that east window. But it's Tyrant to start things off, gets rid of one. Immediately, though, Deepek has found him. They had no idea he was there to sprays him down from behind that fallen bookcase. Sorry, behind the sofa, and pays the price for it.
Noodle's just going to be trying
he's so close.
He's just trying to hold this angle for the time being and hoping that he's going to get pushed, but you're on the attack. You can't do that forever. The clock is not your friend at the minute. It's not working in your favour with 50 seconds left to go. He's just trying to stop the flank realistically. So now it's on his Fnatic. Creed's has
C4.
A view. There's absolutely, it's like watching an accident happen, isn't it? There's just absolutely nothing that you can do. He sees the C4 thrown, he's no doubt shouted it out to his teammate, but there's just absolutely nothing. And Fnatic have made great use of this nitro utility throughout this game. You know, we've had Sarks getting a double kill, we've seen 2 kills in this round. They really are maximising it. 20 seconds left to go, and I think these are no more than exit kills for Wolves.
They have been really good with C4s this half. Like I touched on it in the earlier intel heavy round where they got that double kill for the C4 to start with. closing kill of the round was the C4 as well. They've got another couple in this round. They just keep on building up, and I've got to give it to him as well. Although he's not like massively up there on kills on the leaderboard, Deepak has been this very solid rock for his team, sat in the back line. He is the IGL and support player for them while he's got these 4, would-be entry players charging around in front of him. But he has been a nice sense of stability on the team in the back line for them, whether it's on the Maestro or various other operators. He's doing a good job here. In fact, the whole team is, because now they find themselves stepping up towards match point. They're in a good position, Tim. I think they're feeling pretty confident right now.
Yeah, I think, we've spoken about it so far today a couple of times, the way that mental builds up. We saw it kind of working against Wild in a lot of ways, and I think maybe it's now working against Wolves here, is that, you start feeling a little bit beaten up. Fnatic have got 3 rounds in a row. They're starting to really, start rolling here, and you're looking at it thinking, is there another round in this for us? The attack isn't really working out. Wolves have only had 1 successful attack back in round 7, where they attacked onto Reading Room, so you kind of look at it now and you think Fnatic, they must be sitting pretty and feeling pretty good. We're going to go to mining, which we have a look. They played it back in round 8 and they won it.
All right, Wolves, now or never, my friends. It's time to show up and deliver big. This is looking interesting, actually. Look at the scattering of the destruction around this whole hatch they've put up on this top floor. Probably looking towards trying to deny, I'd imagine, or toss C4 supposed to try and open it up. Honestly, if I'm Wolves, that just looks like a trap being set up before me. I steal those open holes and I think, right, there is 100% a C4 waiting underneath there. I am going nowhere near that hatch.
Yeah, given the success that Fnatic have had with C4s so far as well, it may even just be about sound cues, get open around the hatch here when they're going near there and just get ready to throw that C4.
How many sound cues do you want, Tim? All of them?
Well, exactly. That's exactly what you want. That is exactly what you want. They should have like an echo location on him by that, to be fair.
Oh, I know. You're going to hear a pin drop with how much of that floor's been opened up around there. Love to see it. See how things shape up, but of course also leaning in towards things like the Kaid is going to make this even more frustrating, somewhat countered finally by the Brava being on side. And deal with those evilizers we're now seeing. 1 goes, the second one going 2. That's a lot of information that now is given over towards the attackers, so good use here from Azza of those Brava drones.
You got to ban the Brava if you want to bring the Maestro. You can't get away with it. They're going to manage to keep the bulletproof cam alive, but yeah, you just cannot allow the Brava to still be active if you're going to try to bring the Maestro, and we've just seen exactly why. Right now, Fnatic are hanging on. Hanging on might be a strong way of putting it, but they're all right, but they're starting to come under some pressure.
That is criminal. That is criminal.
It is criminal. There's no way Tyrant should be missing that kill, and this is what I'm talking about for Wolves. I think you kind of end up mentally in a space where you're losing and things become more difficult. The plant is going to go down here, though. Leader might be able to just keep hold of it. Nitro goes out. Going to be too late to say. No, he manages just in the nick of time.
Azza kind of had one job there, and that was to watch out for things like that, and just let a C4 sail over his teammate's head and easily get it down. A bit too easy, because yet again, Fnatic finds success with C4s, as they have done all half long. They're still across with 1 more to go. Kree steps up and barely gets a chance to even look inside a cigar before Wizard has deleted it. Hits double digits in this game as well, looking good. Almost loses his life here to Noodle, who's out on the window, but I think even Noodle probably feels a bit resigned that this game might now be going against them, as they're in a 2 versus 5 with less than 60 seconds to play.
Yeah, like I said, I think the last 2 rounds maybe become a self-fulfilling prophecy for Wolves, where you feel like you're on that downhill, that slippery slope, you're losing, everything Fnatic is doing is working, and it certainly has continued that way. Just trying to work around that hatch now. There's 1 Nitro left for Crocs. I don't know if he's got it in a position where he can use it. They've got a little bit of intel, can start blasting through the floor, but this is the point that Wolves are at now. It's kind of just blind spraying through the floor based on yellow pings, just trying to, get anything going, because Fnatic are just sat waiting for them to come on in.
Yeah, it was a real Hail Mary attempt to get this plant down. They'll pay the price for it time and time again. Like, Azza's down, might get recovered, but a nice step up, but the trade is there in Fnatic. I think it's fair to say, Tim, after a whole stage of search, they've started things off with a pretty comfortable victory here on Cafe.